What is makeup to you? What is beauty to you? Decide for yourself what beautiful is. To the beholders that I thought mattered, I thought that I was unbeautiful. Finally, I realized that beauty was not a thing that I could occupy or consume. It was something that I just had to be. What actually sustains us. What is fundamentally beautiful is compassion for yourself and for those around you. That kind of beauty inflames the heart. There's no shade in that beauty. So to start off, I'm going to be building my lovely prosthetic. I really wanted to challenge myself, and I've done a prosthetic before, but I haven't done anything like this at home before, so I wanted to do something a little bit out of my comfort zone. So this is the first time that I'm doing this at home, so yes, it is possible to do an at-home prosthetic without it being $1 million. I will have a more in-detailed video coming up for you guys, but for now, we're just going to kind of move through this pretty quickly. I'm using oil-based clay to just block out the shape that I want, and I'm doing this on top of a face cast. And then once I have kind of the shape that I want, we can go in with a chip brush to kind of smooth it out and then go into the detail. So using a little bit of alcohol on your chip brush is also going to help smooth it out really nicely. And just take your time with this process. It is a little bit tedious, but the longer you go at it, the more detail you add, it's going to look that much better. A lot of my inspiration for this look came from the Chameleon, so I have a lot of reference photos in front of me. And if you ever are recreating a look or getting inspiration from a look, it's a really handy tip to have reference in front of you. As you guys can see right now, I'm just smoothing out my prosthetic with a little bit of 99% alcohol in a chipped brush. With my oil-based clay, I'm going to start building up a wall so I can create a mold or kind of like a fossil. I'm using Ultra Cal 30 to create my mold. I went ahead and poured in my Ultra Cal 30 and waited about a day for it to dry just to make sure it was for sure solid. And then, as you guys can see, I have my lovely negative mold now. So now to actually make the prosthetic, you have to fill your mold, and I personally used latex just because it's super affordable and super easy to find, but you can use silicone or gelatin. There's a variety of different products that you can use to make this. Okay, sorry if that was a little bit boring. Now for the fun part, I'm going to start off by using a little glue stick, and I'm going to start blocking off my brows. So I went in with my glue stick, and then we are going to powder that with a little bit of translucent powder, and then I'm going to go in with my foundation, and that is how you block out your brows. Then I'm just going to cover the rest of my face with my foundation, and I am keeping that off of my forehead and my nose because my prosthetic has to stick to those areas and I don't want any product on there. And then I'm going to go into my concealer, and of course I'm going to set it with a little bit of translucent setting powder. And don't mind my lovely brows right now, I just don't want to put any foundation on them because they have to stick for my prosthetic. So I'm going to be going into a blue first, and we're going to do a really nice like rainbow wash on my eyelid. And then I'm going to go into the purple, and then to the pink, and then to the orange, and then to the yellow. And I'm just really buffing this out, and I'm keeping this on the upper part of my crease so we have a really nice sharp cut crease later on. Next, I'm going to go into some concealer, and I'm just going to carve out my eyelid and make sure I have a really sharp line. And this is really just going to help elongate my eyes and make everything look a lot cleaner on my eyelid. And then we're going to go on top of that concealer with a little bit of translucent setting powder just so it doesn't transfer. And then I'm going to go on top of that with a little bit of some sparkly glitter. So I went ahead and put Prothetic all over my prosthetic. I let it dry so it was completely clear, and then I'm just sticking this on my forehead. And since the mold wasn't a mold of my face, it's not going to be exactly perfect to my face. If you guys have a mold of your face, so that will be ideal, but if you don't, since we're doing just a little basic prosthetic, it's still going to go on pretty easy. And then I'm just going to coat my prosthetic with a little bit of foundation just so it matches my skin color. Even though we're going to go on top of that, I don't want any colors to peek through. So I'm just going to get a nice base, and then I'm going to go into some pink airbrush fluid, and I'm just going to start spraying my prosthetic and really taking my time and just building this up in layers. I'm also going to add this onto my cheekbones for a little bit of contour. I'm just going to define the texture of my prosthetic skin, so I'm just adding a little bit of black paint into the little crevices, and then I'm going to go on top of that with my pink airbrush fluid again, just to make sure it doesn't look as vibrant. And then I'm just going to coat my neck and chest area. I'm going to start doing a rainbow effect on my neck and chest, so I'm going into blue now, and I'm just going to keep that on the left side of my shoulder. And then for the right side of my shoulder, I'm going to go into yellow, and then in the middle, I'm just going to go back into that pink airbrush fluid and kind of blend it all together. Picking up my lovely handy dandy reptile stencils, I'm going to be tracing that with my silver airbrush fluid, and this is going to create really nice reptile skin texture. And I'm just putting that all over my chest. I'm doing a quick coat of Prothetic all over my neck, and then I'm going to go into this lovely sequence, and I cut them in half, and then I'm just applying it from the bottom to the top so it has a really nice reptile feel. I'm topping off my lips with a purple liquid lipstick. Then I'm going back into that sequence just to add onto my face for some contrast. I'm applying of that Prothetic right underneath my eyes, as you guys can tell, and I'm going to just layer in that sequence underneath my eye. Last but not least, for my prosthetic piece, I'm adding a bit of that silver onto my prosthetic for a little bit of definition and depth, and this is also going to help it match with my chest area. Going back to my eyes, I thought that they needed more intensity, so I'm adding some sparkles right on top of my eyelid. So I'm going to be doing a lovely flower headpiece today. I picked up all this stuff from the dollar store, and as you guys can see, I'm just kind of placing them on the headband, seeing where I think they look good, and then gluing them down with a hot glue gun. And this is really going to help the makeup come to life. In this artwork, I really wanted to express something that was inspiring, meaningful, and most of all, I wanted to challenge myself. I found a lot of my inspiration in the chameleon that changes colors to hide into the world around itself. Well, I am the chameleon that is breaking free, not abiding by social rules of what everyone thinks that I should or I shouldn't be. Everyone is different and everyone is unique, and it takes courage to rock a bold lip and a smoky eye. It takes courage to wear no makeup at all. And it takes courage to stand out and be yourself. So ask yourself, what would courage have you do?